Rosenblum. He's a trial lawyer specializing in homicide cases. He was co-counsel representing the defendant in the highly publicized Amy Fisher case. So, welcome.
Welcome.
It is not unusual then for you to deal with cases where all this publicity is there. Is it a positive factor or a negative one?
Well, publicity in the media is an unknown factor. In the hands of a skilled lawyer slash public relations man, it can be of immense help. In the hands of somebody who is captured by it and actually controlled by it, it can be very, very detrimental to your client.
Well, all right, help me understand that. Here we've got a case now that's 13 years old. Witnesses' memories obviously cannot be in the best condition. I indicated that there may have been a conspiracy of silence. There is, the individual saw the victims even as outsiders. You have this hippie mentality. How would you use that to your advantage?
Well, you really have to wait and see what the media does. For example, they coined the phrase the rainbow murders. That almost by itself, just as lethal Lolita, makes the case bigger than life. You might want to counter and say the Rambo murders and try to paint a picture of maybe some mad mountain man going out and doing this. I mean, you can use it many different ways, but you really have to play it by ear, and ultimately you don't control it. You just try to use it to make your points as you can. Overuse of the media may hurt. The media can also be used to bring out, smoke out witnesses, whether they be true or not, in the form of recently we've seen tabloid television take over. So you might have, if this case were in New York, you might have 1 million witnesses saying, oh yes, I saw that, oh yes, I didn't see that, and it may create a further confusion, and that may be helpful to the defense.
Flip on the other side. You're up in an area where outsiders are considered just that, outsiders, a very clannish group of people. Now, you got individuals who, for some reason or another, they've kept silent about this. You're the prosecutor now. You're going to try and get people to open up, and maybe in some instances talk about members of their family, friends, neighbors, whatever. What's your strategy on that?
Well, it's hard for me to look at a case from a prosecutor's standpoint other than looking at it from a defense attorney's viewpoint of how a prosecutor would approach it. I think he's got a lot of problems, a prosecutor. 13 years. Why, if the prosecution and the investigation was intent on seeing who committed these murders, then they could have done it after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, knock on every door, do everything you have to do. After 13 years, it raises questions in my mind as to, is this a conspiracy of silence, or is it a political prosecution? Has something happened recently? Is somebody running for office? Has something happened that makes them want to reopen this? I don't know. As on the prosecutor's side, the truth is the truth is the truth, and it doesn't matter. Murder is not something you're likely to forget, and these may not be the best witnesses, and they may use drugs, and they may this, and they may that, but if they're telling the truth, they're telling the truth. It's not something you're likely to forget. You may forget what you were wearing 13 years ago. You may forget who you had conversations with, but you're not going to forget, and I've cross-examined many people who've discovered many bodies. It's not something you forget. I
bet that's true. What would your recommendations be, your strategy would be in terms of the client himself? Would you put this individual on the stand?
That's a question that you have to spend, either you know right away you're not going to put him on, or you're going to have to wait and see how the trial develops.
If you know right away, what are the things that you're using as a guideline on that? The information that's in there?
It's an instinct. First of all, in a case like this, and in most cases, my inclination is I don't want to rely on anybody to acquit my client but myself, but Eric Nyberg, my partner, but my defense team. I don't want to take that chance, because even clients who are telling the truth can be perceived, because of body language, because of little things jurors get in their mind, as not telling the truth. I don't want to take that chance. I want to beat it into that jury from the moment that I'm picking that jury, beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand our system is beyond a reasonable doubt, that I don't have to, all the burden is over there on that prosecutor. They have all the power of the state, all the money of the state. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to cross-examine. I don't have to say this to you even. I could sit back the whole time, stand up at the end and say, move to dismiss. They haven't proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. So, I forgot the question.
Well, I was asking you about your client going on the stand, but you've been so persuasive of me. I'll tell you what.
I always wanted to prepare them for the eventuality that he won't. And then in summations, and then if he does come in with a summation, what more could he do? 13 years. Who would remember? He's hired a lawyer. He's pled not guilty. He's done this. He's done that. And he even did what he's not required to do. He came and he testified truthfully. What more do you want him to do? Thank God he doesn't have to prove he's innocent, because then we'd have a problem. But they haven't met their burden. He's not guilty. By man's law, he's not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah. We need a break so that you can relax a bit. I mean, you've worked yourself into a stew here. We're going to take a break and come right back. Please stay with me.